Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts,
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
Whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
Well, hey there, Rob.
Happy Thanksgiving, Abigail.
Oh, well, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Lovely. I love us on a Friday night.
What a great introduction to this week's episode.
You know, I was just thinking that we are getting pretty close to having done this podcast for about a year.
Almost.
Every single week.
We just keep doing it.
I mean, we just keep on going. But this week, we have a really awesome topic. And it came up to me because I had been hearing so much news about how disastrous Jollywood Nights was, right? And Jollywood Nights is the new glitzy, glamorous holiday party over at Hollywood Studios. It's the first year, and they've had just one night of this so far. Actually, tomorrow night, they will have another one. That's Saturday night. And we'll see.
It's sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out. We'll see how that one goes. But I just wanted to highlight on some of the other, like, this is not the only thing to start at Disney that was like a little bit, I don't want to say disastrous. I don't want to label it as disastrous, but there have been opening day disasters and calamities for sure.
What you would say, this idea came to you, maybe it didn't seem that good at first, but then it worked its way into a magic topic?
Nope, it seemed good to me the whole time.
All
Thanks.
Right. I'm just trying to draw a line of comparison while our dogs are chomping on bones.
Chomping away on bones. Yes. Well, so I wanted to talk about Disneyland's opening day. It opened on July 17th, 1955, and it was dubbed as Black Sunday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that's what the U2 made that song about, right?
Maybe.
Is it Sunday, Bloody Sunday?
Very tragic experience over at Disneyland.
No, we're not making light of what actually they were singing about. I'm sorry. I apologize. Apologize to Bono.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney came up with this wonderful idea about this theme park after visiting with his children, right? He visited other theme parks and he said he really wanted to have a family-friendly place for families to go that was neat and clean and tidy and had like these wonderful themes to go along with the rides.
I wonder what he was going to call it.
Now, he started out a year before the park opening. So there was only 1 year in which all this magic needed to come together in the park.
Can you imagine that back then with the way, obviously like things were just, they didn't move as quickly back then.
Yeah.
And, it was just, everything took longer because it didn't have as much advancements in
right.
The construction.
Like you couldn't just send an email being like,
well, yes,
do all this. You couldn't
everything.
FaceTime a meeting being like, nope, don't put that there, put it here. Everything needed to be done in person.
I don't even think they had walkie-talkies. I think they just had cups connected by strings.
Hello, over there.
Was that Mickey Mouse?
Nope, it was just my voice through a string.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, all the creation was on a very tight timeline, and this timeline ended pretty much the day before the park opening, if not on the day of the park opening. Yeah. And let's be honest, it never ends. Disney is a ever evolving magical creation, but to actually be prepared for the opening day, that was a little crazy that they weren't ready. So due to the rush of opening, many of the attractions were still actually under construction. So some of these attractions were the Rocket to the Moon, Peter Pan,
Ooh.
and Dumbo the Flying Elephant were just some of the attractions that weren't open. But that sounds like a lot for, I think on opening day, there was supposed to be about 20 attractions.
Oh.
I think, and there was a couple more that were down too.
Okay.
But my favorite story is about the asphalt on Main Street. It was like fresh, like just put down the day before, if not hours before, because they couldn't afford the financial cost of asphalt until they sold all the tickets, right? Or until they had like pre-bought tickets or, had the funding for the asphalt. So it was really just super fresh asphalt. And the heat was about 100 degrees on a nice July day.
Yeah,
so
California.
Yeah, in California. While walking towards the castle, guests were literally sinking into the ground. Women and men, actually everybody kind of dressed their Sunday best, right? To go to this opening day of this park. There was going to be media there. You could get you might possibly be on TV or be in a newspaper, right? So you're dressed your best. And some of the women that were wearing high heels for the occasion actually had like a kind of they called it a Cinderella moment where they would lose their shoes in the asphalt because the heels of the shoes were getting stuck in the asphalt as they were walking towards the castle, which is crazy. And yeah, so basically that's like a really big story about the shoes.
And that's what they say, that if you look closely you could still see like divots in the asphalt.
I'm so curious now. I would love to go and take a peek of that.
Yeah, I don't know about that because but it does make you wonder, right? Even like Disney World, like how do they? I mean, like our driveway has cracks in it, and it has it needs to get redone, and it takes like you can't park on it for
a certain amount of time.
Like so, how are they pouring it? Like they must redo it every so often, right?
Like how does it stay so?
Because I mean, it's not being driven on, which makes a big deal like constantly, but it does have some vehicles,
right?
Like
the parades routes, the horses,
but
the
again,
buggies.
It's not like you're not going 60 and screeching. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different, and it's all flat. But I'd like to know what technology they have. I'd like to put it in our driveway so I don't have to deal with the cracks.
I like what you're saying there. That is very, very interesting.
Wait,
I haven't thought of it.
To you.
I'm wondering if it's done by like. Sorry, I didn't.
No. Go.
If it's done by like quadrants, let's say like there's a square here, and like you can replace one square, and then you can replace the next square, that kind of thing, or it doesn't work because the parade has to go by still.
Yeah.
So,
but like you never hear them like closing off like a street or anything.
Yeah, no. Great point.
Coming
Rob.
soon to you, a DHE episode all about asphalt. So be prepared for that. It's going to be melting.
Speaking of melting, on opening day, there was also a gas leak in Fantasyland, and it messed with many of the rides over there, right? Because 3 of the lands, which accounts for like half the park, had to be evacuated. There's a couple of different stories that like the gas leak, there was maybe a small fire over near the castle area that was put out pretty quickly. But because it happened so long ago, and because social media was non-existent, I mean, there's really no evidence to the story aside from a lot of the park had to be evacuated for most of the afternoon.
Wow.
It's like, okay.
That must have been the day they started serving Mexican food. Lots of beans.
Oh, God.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, ooh, we had Chipotle last night.
Oh,
Enough said. Okay.
All right. Well, all that really super sweet talk brings me to the Mark Twain Riverboat, which was another kind of calamity on open day. Because of the capacity, there were so many people at the park, which we'll talk about next. They were all getting onto this riverboat, which the overcrowding made the boat kind of come off of its tracks and sink into the mud.
Crazy.
Right? So when they finally got it back onto the track after a very long time, and then like to dock for the patrons to depart the boat, right?
Okay.
The boat started to then tilt because the crowd was like rushing off. And so then they had to end up wading through water to get off the boat.
Crazy.
So it was just like a disaster of all sorts just because of the overcrowding.
No.
Oops, so sorry about that.
Somebody's at our door.
Nope.
Who was it? Who's our visitor?
I just have like 10,000 alarms on my phone that go off all the time to remind me to do things. You know what? Guess what? I already did it. Thank you very much. The real life of me.
Of all people.
Of all people, yeah. So anywho, the riverboat, that was a little scary and crazy.
Don't get into Mark Twain's boat.
No, not on that section. Now, this was my favorite part because we all know I'm crazy obsessed with plants. And especially...
What, we're talking taupes?
Yeah, especially during topiary time.
Right. Okay.
This one I couldn't I was laughing the whole time because I was like, no way. But according to one story, in one section of the park, there wasn't enough time to remove the weeds from the park, right? From that area. So instead, the theme park added signs with Latin plant names to make it appear as if they were meant to be there.
And over here we have, look at that, Mom, it's Weedus Disneyus.
I don't know. That's crazy talk. I wonder if anybody ever went home and actually looked up that plant and was like, oh, that's such a beautiful plant. I want that in my yard.
I don't think anyone ever did.
No one ever actually paid attention to it.
Maybe. Well, that's pretty smart. I like to know the person that came up with that idea, and I'd like to hire them, even though they're probably dead. But thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, actually, I was researching that one of he was said to be the first patron to Disney, but he really wasn't. He was the person who bought the actual second ticket because the first ticket was reserved for Walt Disney himself, right?
Oh, weird.
So the second person to get the second ticket to Walt Disney World is actually, I believe, still alive, and he ended up having a lifetime Disney pass because he was featured as the first person who went to Disney kind of thing.
First person,
and
not
he was a
Disney.
College student who got in line at 2 a.m. and he said all night long he could hear them testing the rides and everything. And I thought that was really interesting. And he just went by himself.
I almost did that for a year's worth of free wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. I almost.
What? What did you almost do? Wait in line
the day before. It was for the first 50 guests or
really?
when the one opened. Yeah.
And why didn't you?
Because I found out that it was you could get 6 free wings a day.
You were like, that's not going to do it for me.
I'm what? That's what
6 free wings.
That's what I would eat while I was thinking about how many wings to order. That's not a good deal.
Little did you know you'd become a vegetarian and eat no wings.
Oh, I got vegetarian wings.
Would you say that's what you miss the most?
Yes.
Is wings.
Wings.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I love me some wings.
Okay. That's good to know. Cauliflower doesn't do it for you.
I mean, as
in barbecue sauce.
Great as it sounds, right?
Anyways, back to Disney. To Disney. So Disneyland and the city of Anaheim were not prepared for the amount of people that showed up. And the California Santa Ana freeway that led into the park was backed up for 7 miles. The traffic essentially shut down the freeway for hours. Could you imagine? You're you didn't know this gigantic crowd. I mean, obviously you knew a crowd was going, but that it was going to be this much of an explosion. You've got your whole family in the car. They're all dressed nice, have their nylons on and pretty shoes. And then you're stuck for 7 miles, hours and hours on the freeway with no bathrooms, no anything. In the hot heat. Yikes, man. I would not have enjoyed that.
And I don't even know. They have
air conditioning
in the 50s. I can't tell you.
I don't know either. It couldn't have been good.
Mm.
So when the families finally made it to Disneyland, there were reports that they were taking restroom breaks in the parking lot and on the side of the freeway. I mean, I get it. I have little kids too. Things happen, you know?
It was by 1969, 54% of domestic automobiles were equipped with air conditioning.
Okay.
So
not
probably not in the
1955.
50s.
Yikes.
Dressed in jackets and petticoats.
I don't know about the petticoats, but yeah, they were
Not even
dressed
sure
in their
what that
best.
is, but okay.
Oh, poor guys. So the number of guests that came on opening day were not expected. Therefore, the bathrooms were packed and the food and drinks ran out like super quick. Over 28,000 guests attended opening day, and they were only planning for 15,000 guests. So there were a lot of counterfeit tickets going around and non-ticketed guests climbing over fences to gain entrance. There was a story of one man that set up a ladder outside of the park, and he charged people $5 a head to use his ladder to sneak in to the park. No, this is probably what like totally created like Disney's idea and location in Florida, right? Because you really like, what are you going to swim a moat with some alligators to get in there? I don't really know. You can't really get in there or sneak in. There's just not really a way.
There's always a way.
Yes.
There's always a way. Now, it's funny you said about the plumbers. Did we talk about the strike that was happening?
You know what? I didn't. I think I skipped right over that, but it is a really important detail. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So there was a plumber strike during construction while they were building, right? As it was getting close to the deadline. So the majority of the water fountains in the park weren't operational at the time.
Which is crazy.
They weren't hooked up, but these are all there's no asphalt, water. So the contractor that was doing it, the plumber, said there aren't enough hours in the day to finish the restrooms and to finish all the drinking fountains. And in a classic Walt Disney response, as they say, he said, well, they could drink Coke and Pepsi, but they can't pee in the streets. Finish the restrooms. So that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's the logical part, right?
It does. But then when you run out of the Coke and Pepsi, then you've got some real problems there for sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess I have to say I am glad they finished the restrooms.
Because they weren't bottling water, back then.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
So there are all these different things. And yeah.
I laugh at how much water. I mean, it's so good because, I didn't ever have a water bottle when I was a kid or drink nearly as much water as
our kids drink tons of water.
Yeah,
I drank a lot of iced tea growing up. That was our household drink.
Oh.
Lipton's iced tea, the mix. We just mix it up.
I mean, we didn't really have anything other than water, I want to say, but it wasn't like I was carrying a water bottle around. Are you kidding me?
No.
Never in my life
never
did I
drink
think of
water.
that.
We were always like, ugh, water, yuck. Now, right? Everyone has a water bottle.
Everybody's hydrated or working on hydration. So yeah, that would have not gone over well. So Walt was kind of preoccupied, right? Because they were having this live television show going on, this feed, and 70 million people watched from their living rooms on a live ABC broadcast co-hosted by actor and future president Ronald Reagan, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and more.
The Rat Pack.
So yeah, the hiccups of the day were not broadcasted because remember, we've got kind of stationary news, right? Stationary cameras and stuff. It wasn't like they could go many different places, and I'm sure that they did, like go to the castle at one point and go to a ride at one point, but it wasn't like they could go.
It wasn't like
instantly.
mobile units everywhere. They had to like reset and so
it was just all the good things were highlighted. I mean, and they were really, really prepared. And even though this first day went so terribly, by their 7th week, I think it was, 7th week, Disneyland welcomed their 1 millionth guest.
Insane.
So 1 million guests by 7 weeks.
Yeah, I'm talking less than 2 months.
Because all those people in their living rooms were watching this amazing thing go down and saying, I want to be a part of that.
I got to see.
I want to see what that
here.
is. So
if only they could live now.
I know, but I mean, it was such a saving grace that like social media wasn't what it is today, because now we can hear 10 million opinions right away.
And that's where nothing gets by. There would be news. It'd be hashtag Asphaltgate at Disneyland opening, or hashtag Watergate. Oh wait, that's something that already happened. But yeah, no, absolutely, right. It just shows you it's how different news gets around and how fast it is.
And some of it's like completely untrue too. So you've got to take that into account. So Disney has had many special events throughout time that did not hit the mark when it came to audience praise. And
this was Disney World, right? Or flipping.
Right. So, we're going to talk about Disney World now. You're right. Okay. So back on August 23rd, 2014, this was a different Hollywood Studios event.
Such a different time.
And they had a one-night special known as Villains Unleashed. Oh. And it's so funny because when I hear about this, I'm just like, oh my goodness, we love villains. Like everybody's obsessed with villains. Everybody loves villains. So I wouldn't have expected that this particular villain event tanked so badly, but it did because of the kind of like the lack of planning for the popularity. That's what are the villains, right? They're really popular. So the experience focused on meet and greet opportunities for guests with the villains, highlighting this as being a really rare thing, right? Okay. And I recall kind of hearing about this back then, about like, you don't see the villains. They're being unlocked and unleashed into the Hollywood studios, right? Yeah. And the problem was, the event was held from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And the problem was that Disney did not limit the capacity, the attendance to this event. So that was like number one. They're just kind of letting the park fill up again. Now, then they have, the meet and greet lines for the villains, and they're so long. They're very so long that you're spending all this time in line. And the guests were just incredibly disappointed, and so disappointed, kind of like we're seeing with Jollywood Nights, that Walt Disney World is refunding money to the attendees at this event because they were just waiting in lines to meet one villain and then waiting in lines to meet another villain. And it just kind of really stunk. So, yeah.
I mean, that's just like, whether it's villains and or, Figment popcorn buckets, they just don't. They don't have a pulse on what's actually people are going to turn out for, right?
They do and they don't. Now, with things like popcorn buckets, I'm going to get into that right now, actually. But I did want to say, Disney did refund the money, right, for the villains, for the people who asked for it. And they are refunding money for Jollywood Nights. But it reminds us that Disney might not always get it right, but they make it right.
Gotcha.
Right? They're always trying to make it better. Because again, like we're always saying, Disney is like very experimental because they're moving forward with things. They're in the world of progress and evolving.
The carousel of progress?
Well, yes, obviously. I do love that ride, and yet you would never go on it with me. I don't understand.
I haven't been asked.
Well, next time we're gonna go see It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Okay. Over and over again. So, okay. Jollywood's common complaints are that the event was overcrowded and did not feature enough special activities. But again, guest relations have been giving out refunds due to all the complaints. But I just want to jump in here and say, the first night of this event, Disney sold tickets and then also invited media and gave media tickets. So like your vloggers, your podcasters, your
influencers,
high-tiered influencers, right? And so we're like double dipping here. Some of those people had already bought tickets, but then they were given tickets. So they're giving their tickets away to friends and family, right? And so now we're having all different experiences. And for those influencers, they are closing down Rizzo's Pizza, right? And it's going to become like it became a special event place, right? And if you were going in as a media, you had to give them a code word. And the code word was like Ali or something like that.
Okay.
And so you were allowed into this special private party. So as an influencer, you're having a completely different experience because inside this Rizzo's Pizza place, they have
all the
actresses and actors dressed in
they're in costume,
glitzy glamour and being amazing, and you're gonna feel that cocktail vibe. You're gonna hear the music right inside this area. So then when you're coming out of this area and you're seeing this other thing, you're like, well, yeah, but that area was great. I enjoyed that area. But there are hundreds of bodies that are taking up space, videoing every corner and picturing every corner here. And it's just making that crowd so much more crowded, and they are wanting to get into that line to get that cookie or to get that perfect drink, to get the picture shot and all those things. So I feel like this opening night perhaps should have been closed off or capped to media, perhaps.
It should have just been a media day.
Maybe so, because
kind of like a soft opening night.
Yeah, having everybody there at the same time, I think really made it frustration. And these, again, are the people who are going to be in line for the popcorn buckets. And they're going to be picturing the best shot and fighting for it. Like, it's their career to be the first. It's their career to wait and to see and to write and to create this. So I think as a regular guest, being in the midst of that would really suck. That's my take on it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with influence. Here we are on our podcast talking about all the things and the stuff and wish we were there. But it can definitely limit somebody's experience. And also these are the people too that are being like, oh, that sucks so bad, even though I got to go to a private party and blah, blah, blah. So, they're throwing out the speculations of the party right away. And that also stinks, right? Like these are things that we wouldn't know back in 1955. We would just sing the amazing singer and the actresses and the act and be like, wow, I want to join that. And then appropriately join the millionth guest at some later date, right? But I don't know. That's my little Abby on top of an
apple box.
Apple box. There you go. What have you got to say about it?
Well, I'd like to know, when was the last time you swung by the DHE PO box to check did we get our invites?
You're right. It's been a few weeks.
Did we? Maybe they
might
were
have
in there.
missed it.
We just missed it.
We could have missed it.
I'm sure.
So true.
I'm sure we're huge. I've got nothing to say. They're going to figure it all out.
They are going to figure it out. And I think that Jollywood Nights will be here to stay, and it's going to just get better and better, right? So
you would think
Disney refunding these tickets and whatnot, I think it's just a gracious act. I think that they know what they're doing and they knew that was going to happen. And it's probably a smaller percentage than what we think that they're refunding, because there's still sold out nights coming up. And there's still nights. There's going to be, 11 more nights that are happening. And I think it will get better and better.
Well, it sounds like a PR nightmare to me. I would not want to be that person.
Maybe.
So one of the things, obviously, the other party that's happening over in Magic Kingdom, right? We got Jollywood Nights in Hollywood Studios. We have Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And there's more of those. it's more the traditional
Christmas
or holiday celebration,
Mm-hmm.
and the majority of those are sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just something, check your dates. There's like 2 dates left in November. It's like after Thanksgiving, the 20th, 30th, and then there's a couple dates in the mid to beginning of December, but everything else is sold out.
So cool.
You can check with your travel specialist or go to your My Disney Experience app to see all that. But we haven't really talked about what happens at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
I mean, so many things. I think you're walking right into Main Street, into this just gorgeous Christmas, kind of threw up everywhere in a glittery way. And you're getting a bunch of kind of freebies as soon as you walk in, right? You're able to have your hot chocolate and your cookies and this and that. But
so
you tell me, baby.
There's guests, as they come in, there are certain special events that they can check out, that they can go see. There's the Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks, right? So there's a special fireworks showing that's only for the Christmas, for the Very Merry Christmas. I keep wanting to say Not So Scary. I keep wanting to say Not So Scary.
Listen, that was
party.
So last year, okay?
So last year or last episode. Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, right? There's Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. So you have a whole new parade that you can go check out. And then there's character meet and greets, holiday attraction overlays. But then there are the complimentary treats. Now, they're not everywhere, right? There's only 5 spots throughout the Magic Kingdom where you can go get complimentary treats.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're not all over. And they're mostly you could just get a cookie and a drink.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 5 spots. You could go to Tortuga Tavern. You could get a buttercream frosted gingerbread cookie and eggnog.
Mm-hmm. Yum.
You can go to the Pinocchio Village House.
Mm-hmm.
Get red velvet cake cookie and hot chocolate. Right, you're going to sense a theme here. Columbia Harbor House, which is in Liberty Square.
Mm-hmm.
You get a chocolate chip cookie and hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe, which is over in Tomorrowland. You get a snickerdoodle and hot chocolate. And then the last place, also in Tomorrowland, it's at the launching pad, which is right near the People Mover and everything. And that's you get the buttercream frosted sugar cookie and apple cider.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the same as going to the Not So Scary, where it's you're getting candy everywhere, but it does have these items, and I think it's a big, just one of those
it's
things
a draw.
that you could
it's
do.
a part of your ticket. It's nice.
So you go get some cookies, and you could enjoy the sights. And I know during the parades, they do the snow, right? They do the snow to kind of get you, but it's not obviously real snow. We just had a meeting, a family travel planner meeting last weekend, and travel specialist Megan kind of was a big part of the meeting. She kind of gave us herself, and I can't remember her exact verbiage, but she called it this. It was because it's made of soap, right? It's basically just soap. Yeah. I don't remember what she had some word that she used, and I was like, oh, that's really I never heard that before. But it's soap snow.
Soapy snow.
Throughout it. So that's there's also a very cool, this year, there's the Frozen Holiday Surprise at Cinderella's Castle, which is performed twice. You could actually see it, even if you don't have a ticket to the Christmas party, you could see it at 6:15 nightly. Mm-hmm. And then you could see it, they do play it again at 8:15 for just people with tickets to the Very Merry Christmas Party. And that's where they it's a projection show. And they have Anna and Elsa are there, and Elsa comes and does magic, and it turns the castle into Christmas time and all that stuff. And so that's been getting actually very good reviews. People are saying it's worth checking that out.
I love that. Hey, do you happen to know if the Dapper Dans put on anything special during the party?
I saw something definitely about Dapper Dans, and I did not. If you want to bear
How
with me,
could you not pay attention to the Dapper Dans? Now, I know that they got into their new Christmas outfits recently, and they look super handsome. And so I love the Dapper Dans, and I love how they are now kind of changing seasonally, how they were the Cadaver Dans over Halloween. And I think during springtime, they should be like the Flowery Dans or something really fun. But also, I don't know, I saw the overlay today over at Epcot, Living with the Land, and the Christmas lights. Yeah. They were so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Just going into that little greenhouse there, and especially if you go at night, it just looks so good. Oh my goodness. I was like gushing over all of that.
It's called Living with the Land Glimmering Greenhouses. Right?
Oh, it looks so good. I love it.
So you can check that out. It's available November 24th through December 30th. Mm-hmm. You can see the transformation there. So yeah, lots of cool like LED lights everywhere. There's like LED glow up Mickeys like hidden like throughout the and everything. Yeah, so that's definitely lots of green. If you thought it couldn't be green enough, there's more greenery.
It's more greener.
Be more greener.
Wonderful.
There was some stuff over in Universal, right? They're kind of kicking off their holiday stuff as well. There's a parade that they have at Universal. It's a holiday parade. It's like inspired by Macy's or featuring Macy's, I think was the thing. Yeah. They were saying, featuring Macy's returns. But I guess so tonight was the first show. Okay. But I guess there was some weather down there, so things didn't go.
Oh yeah, this weekend is a mess.
So things didn't go quite as well. So they didn't have they couldn't have anybody on stilts and all this stuff. So they said the bad news is, from what I'm hearing, is like they didn't do anything new. Like there's no new additions from last year. It's pretty much the same. Okay. Which is a little, Universal. Come on. I know they're like, look, we got the Halloween thing. That's our stuff. This is just kind of, we
classic.
Make people.
I think you also had to say, like, did the Macy's parade retire anything or that they can lend to Universal? I mean, there's a lot more to it, I'm sure, than just something new.
I feel like they could step things up a little bit.
But what I like about the parade is, like, let's say you have a family member that works at Universal, you can actually join them, the family member. They can ask you to come and be like balloon holders throughout the parade. And I think that's kind of pretty cool. I know families that you do it every year with their family, and I think that's really fun. Yeah.
One of the other things over in Universal is that they announced, this is the highlight and basically the whole story. Universal announced that they're going to be celebrating New Year's Eve 2023 in both Islands of Adventure and in Universal parks.
Okay.
They don't know what they're doing. They didn't say what they're doing. They just said that we're.
But that's a big deal, because think about it. They close so stinking early. They're like 7 p.m.ers, maybe 9 p.m. on like a weekend. They close so early. And I think that's always been my thing with Universal is like, come on, guys. People fly out to like be here and close and shop. I guess they think they can lean on City Walk, but that's kind of nice that they're going to stay open.
So they're going to be open through, fireworks to go off at midnight, and then they said they'll be open, into the hours of 2024 as well. So
wow, that's
more
really
information
cool.
to come. So if you were looking, you were like, I don't have any New Year's Eve plans, head on down to Universal. It seems like they're going to be doing something. Disney's still going to be celebrating Christmas, I think. So get ready for Snope. Nope, that doesn't. Maybe that's what you said.
Snope.
Was it just Snope?
Soap.
I thought it was something like super ingenious. I don't know. Maybe it was.
We'll have to ask.
Remember, yes, we will have to ask her. The other thing was, and this is going a little bit further into 2024 is that the bookings have opened at Universal for the 2024 Mardi Gras Float Parade and Dine experience.
That's right, they did.
Yeah, so you could go and yeah, you could participate. You just have to, again, I think it's just getting basically a reservation. So the Float and Dine experience starts at $84.99, but pricing varies depending on date. And if you're a pass holder, you can save 15%. These are the participating restaurants, though. This is where you have to go. You have to go to Finnegan's Bar and Grill, Lombard Seafood Grill, the Cowfish Sushi Burger Bar, and NBC Sports Grill and Brew.
That's right. So it's cool. The times in which you can do this kind of vary because the times of the parade vary on days. So some days you'll be... Excuse me. Some days you'll be eating at 4:30 at these places because then you have to go back and get onto the floats, which I believe is going to be over where like the animal actors area was. So you'll have to make it all the way from City Walk back over there. Now I didn't, and I'll have to do just a smidge more research. I didn't see any age restrictions, serious restrictions for the floats, which really excited me because it looks like, you know, if you can't stand on your own and you're not stable, then you cannot do it. But it sounds like you can be like, was it 40 inches? Again, I have to look again. And taller, that you can stand and you're stable and you can go on the float. And I think that's really cool because when we last looked at going on a float, it was like 18 years and older to go on the floats. Okay. So now they've really opened it up and I'm like, oh, I really want to go. I really want to go. I really want to go. I want to go.
But if they want people to be stable, then that means we can't have Bailey go on. Our 7-year-old will not because she falls everywhere.
Yes, but she can also do amazing cartwheels everywhere.
She does cartwheels, but then she's just walking and just like tumbles over.
The act on the ground, right? But in any case, I think that we should go.
Okay. All right, well, Bucket, you definitely didn't try to propose this to me during the week.
I did. I really want to go. In any case, it's the best time of year to go, I think, to
Universal.
Yeah,
probably, crowds
Good
are probably
weather.
less. Yeah, and except for President's Day weekend, it's probably
that's right.
busy.
So President's Day weekend is incredibly busy across all the parks.
Yeah.
Incredibly busy because I think everybody's so feeling that winter blues set in and they gotta get away.
Yeah.
Now, strangely, I found that the first weekend of March is actually a huge lull in Orlando crowds. So if you happen to be able to get away during that time, this might be a better time for you.
That's before spring break.
Yep.
And again, you could find all of our our crowd calendar. We're month by month in our somewhere. I don't remember the exact episode number, but there was something about calendars in the title. That's very descriptive. You're welcome. I remember everything. I definitely don't make up all those titles. So why would I remember them?
No, babe, there is this really cool shop that keeps coming up on my socials, and it's let's say it looks kind of like a clock unit maybe of something at Walt Disney World. Let's say like a face of one of the rides, right? And then it will show you the ride wait time, and you can click a button and then another ride wait time comes up.
I did see
but
that.
It was like you have to pick which park you want, like whether you want Magic Kingdom, and that's the kind of face it would have is Magic Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios would have like a Hollywood Studios, and it would only show those ride times. And it was like, oh, that's so cool. But the same company also makes a unit that's like you're scanning your Magic Band and it turns on all the lights in your house, like things like that. I'm like, oh, so cool.
He's like, I have a reason to wear it more than 3 times a year.
I know. I'm just Magic Band my way around.
You really should find a use other than that. So I think we have, we got a little bit of time. We can maybe take a trip around the queues of Disney Worlds. What do you say? So it's a Friday night, right? We're recording on a Friday. The Animal Kingdom's closed already at this time by the time I looked for pictures because animals got to sleep. They ain't celebrating Christmas. They don't know what time it is. So yeah, no Animal Kingdom. There is a very Merry Christmas party going on right now. So we take that into account and go. There's 2 rides down. Again, that Aerophile at Disney Springs closed. Again, it's never open.
Yeah.
They might as well just dismantle it.
Yeah. What weather?
But every time we look, it's always closed. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is closed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's upsetting. I know it's temporarily closed. I never usually see that ride down too often, but
yeah, I can't say that I have either.
Things happen.
Although we've gotten stuck on it a little bit at the end there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Little hiccups and things like that's right, where we just had to keep listening to them sing. And there we go. Oh, well, this is quite the rendition. Nobody knew they were getting this, huh?
It's so crazy how quickly the sound comes back when you've been stuck on it for like a good 30 minutes.
Wait till we go to video podcasting.
Oh gosh.
What's the longest ride in all of Disney, considering the factors that I've given you?
In all of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
All of Disney.
Well, I mean, it could be that, it could be this. It definitely can't be that, right? That's I'm just going over. This is what she's thinking in her mind. She's really putting a lot of thought into it. Now,
7 Dwarfs Mine Train.
No.
Shoot.
Because again, there's a very Merry Christmas party going on. So
crumpets.
Right.
I take it back.
Would you like some tea with that?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, you're getting warmer though. But just to we don't have to keep doing this all night. Even though it seems like she wants to keep guessing. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay.
She was definitely thinking about it. It was Remy's Ratatouille.
Oh, I always forget that ride. It's not because I don't love it. I really do love it.
What
but
you should have done, you should have been, oh, rats.
You're right. I should have said that.
No.
Rewind. Oh, rats.
Wait, do that rewind sound again? That was pretty good.
No, thanks.
Okay. And then we have Frozen Ever After 85. So it seems like it's a busy night at Epcot.
That's right. Friday is night at Epcot. They're always super busy.
Yeah. People like to get their weekend on.
Yep.
And then we have Slinky Dog Dash over in Hollywood Studios, number 3, 75-minute wait. Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood, 60 minutes. Then we got Test Track 45. 7 Dwarves, as you said, is a 40-minute wait because of normally it's a longer wait, but because of the limited attendance. Smuggler's Run 40. The Jingle Cruise is at 40. People still love going to rides, even though they paid to experience all these special events at Peter Pan's Flight, 35 minutes. What are you doing, people? What are you doing? Go get a apple cider at the launching pad. Come on. There's better things you do. Tower of Terrors at 30. Space Mountain. We could skip those. Soaring over California. That's still going on. They still haven't taken... There's still California on the East Coast. It's still happening. It's a 20-minute wait, though. It's pretty good.
Okay.
What was... The Haunted Mansion, 13 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was the lowest wait time ride? What was the shortest queue in all of Disney?
And
now I'm going to say there was
party too.
Yes, there was 8 of them. They were all tied.
All tied?
Actually, 9. 9 of them all tied.
I can't lose.
Or can you? The heat is on. She is on her second glass of wine.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. The Three Caballeros during the rain has always got like a long wait, right? It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So at this point, and because it's like...
You think it's raining right now?
I think it might be raining. But maybe not, because Aladdin and Dumbo wouldn't run in the rain, but I have a feeling that they're running if there's that many rides that are tied for the shortest amount of time.
Wow, you're just getting full insight
so
to the inner working, the inner monologue of Abby.
That I have no idea.
She really puts a lot of thought into these things with it. Do not matter.
Tell me what the shortest line is.
Well, so like I said, there was the Barnstormer, right?
Okay. Yes. That's weird because I was actually thinking that.
Oh, were you? It's funny because you said a lot of words. I didn't hear a barn or a storm in there.
It was totally on my mind.
The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which we just watched behind the attractions on, right, over on Disney Plus. Yep. That was more than I thought ever went into Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Mm-hmm. Dumbo the Flying Elephant, 5 minutes. Grand Vista Tour, 5 minutes. So it must not be raining. Right?
Yes, you're right.
It's a Small World, 5 minutes. Journey into Imagination, Living with the Land, The Seas with Nemo, and Under the Sea, The Journey of the Little Mermaid. All 5 minutes.
They just put the seagulls back at the seas.
Oh, did they? Mine. So, one thing before we go, as we're getting, about 50 minutes. We've talked enough. They're like enough already. We didn't really. With 2 episodes ago, we had that episode. It was turkey or tree. That's turkey right, before tree. We said turkey before tree ? We never really answered. We didn't give our own opinions. I purposely didn't want to answer because I have hang-ups and things like that I didn't want to talk about just yet. But what's your,
So, okay. I
know you said because of COVID and things got different.
Because during COVID, what else were we going to do? So we set up our tree.
But what about now?
I think that I just go by my feelings, so how I'm feeling, right?
Oh.
So if you had asked me last week, I'd be like, excuse me, no, it's too early for Christmas. And today, after our neighbors put up all their Christmas decorations, I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I want to put up that tree. Let's go.
Now, mind you, this is from the house that we do have a glow up turkey in our window, which is not it's not the best. We could do better, but we can't find anything better. We look every year. But we also have our Halloween projection light still going on our house.
Yes.
And we have our garden flag that says happy haunting still.
Shame.
So definite shame. Whereas our neighbors did put up their Christmas decorations. They have the tree in their window and the whole nine. Now, I personally am I'm more of a stickler where I want to hold out as much as possible. So I have been trying to not tip off the kids because then they would start wanting it and then I would just have to do it. And I want to make them happy as well as make you happy. Yes. So if you asked me to do it, I totally would. I don't know. There's a good chance that I might be putting up Christmas decorations this weekend, but I don't know. Definitely now after Thanksgiving, yes, that's part of my plan.
Yes.
Next weekend, if it doesn't happen this weekend, then I'm putting up. We're putting up Christmas decorations. And we're putting up the tree. Then it's definitely time. So I'm kind of definitely turkey before the tree. But last year we did it, and everything was okay. The world did not explode.
It didn't, and nobody really said anything. All our Thanksgiving guests were like, "Oh, nice tree."
That was it.
That was it.
That was that. So that's kind of our answer. So we both kind of do that.
We have such a busy weekend this weekend that I'm not sure that we would really get.
Let's go over our entire weekend for them. They definitely want to hear.
No, but I'm not sure that we'd really get the time to put up Christmas. So it's probably going to be next weekend.
We'll see. You never know. Now, one other thing, just because while we're staying on Thanksgiving, this is a Thanksgiving. This is going out the week of Thanksgiving. What's your favorite part of Thanksgiving? It could be a dish, it could be an act of something, it could be, what is it? What's your favorite thing?
There's a lot of things that I like about Thanksgiving. I think I I like to bake, so I like to always have some sort of fresh bread or bread product on the table. I used to make challah every Thanksgiving, and so that the Friday after Thanksgiving we'd have challah French toast. I haven't really done challah lately. One year I made a loaf of bread in the shape of a turkey, and that was kind of a big hit. So maybe I'll do that again this year, but I like to bake something fresh, and I like the way it smells. I like the activity of doing it with my hands and time, and
Okay.
it just makes me feel homey, in a good way, not a bad way.
You're my homie.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving?
I like all of it. Mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. I tricked Abby into eating mashed potatoes this week. I just went to the store and brought home mashed potatoes. I love them. I could eat the entire thing. So mashed potatoes. I also love before I met Abby, and even now we have now joined into that. But we were always big appetizer people. So I love onion dip, and I make a ton of carrots. I make a mountain of carrots. I love carrots and onion dip.
Yep.
So I like those two things the most, but I also love stuffing, and we're going to find some type of vegetarian gravy that's going to be good this year. And I know it's all going to happen. I love it all. I love hanging out with my family. I love being with you. I love that we host Thanksgiving. We host it to a small crowd. It's not like a big Thanksgiving. Maybe one day we'll have a bigger one, but right now it's small, but we still do it's a lot of work, right?
I think my favorite Thanksgiving memory thus far, I mean, this one just stands out, and I think it will for years, is last year all the siblings played Heads Up after, and I could not remember the word Batman for some reason. So I just put my fingers into ears on my head to symbolize the Batman. And I will just never forget. I was cry laughing because I was embarrassed, but also it was just funny.
Yeah, Heads Up is a great game to play after you've the food coma wears off,
Yep. Yep.
And you're a little bit, you got a food drunkenness as well, even if you're not drinking, which we were, but that was a good time. I remember that. That was a lot of good laughs.
It was a good time.
We appreciate that.
I hope we get to do it again.
So all these things, right? I'm thankful for getting to do this podcast with you. You're an amazing partner. You did all this research on all these opening day things. I appreciate you doing all that. And then where I just come in and I don't tell you anything and just talk about.
I know. I'm going to tell you that after this podcast, we're going to have a conversation about how he went into Mickey's very Merry Christmas party without talking to me first. I could have contributed to that information, babe.
Well, we could go in depth next week when it's fully Christmas, because then it'll be.
It's on, baby.
Tree after turkey.
On.
Tree after turkey. Tree after turkey. No, but anyway, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for our listeners. I am thankful to be able to talk about Disney because we love it. We love you guys. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving week. I hope you get a chance to actually, take a minute for yourselves, enjoy it, think about all the good things that are going on. And, we don't want to get too sappy, but again, we're thankful for each and every one of you out there listening.
Have a wonderful day and enjoy your family and friends, or just enjoy the Hallmark Channel if that's all you're going to do. I get you. That's what I'd do too.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.